What's going on, everybody? Episode 27 of the Josh Button Podcast. I'm Josh Button. Welcome back. Last time I was here, I spoke. I told you that I would come back with some of my influencers. It's a word we love to use so much. And gratitude. I'm completely grateful for the list of people that I'm going to share and for their influence. And while I wouldn't put them in the typical category of influencers, most of them are because of the social media day and age in which we live and the followings that they have on social networks, which you can go to most of these individuals' accounts and find very useful information, very productive, positive, amazing data, and just well round your information, your input with some of these guys and girls. And I am grateful. And I want to share that first and foremost because, at least on this list, what I've thought of for today and what I have on the top of my mind at the moment, I'm very grateful for each and every one of them. What I found from their resources and from their wealth of knowledge that they were sharing continuously, or the books that they've written, or the videos that they have online on YouTube primarily. And each and every single one of them have produced things that have had profound results or profound impact on myself and led to positive results. Outliers, I would call most of these outliers, because in case you haven't noticed, I am far more familiar with outliers that I agree with than mainstream recognized and accepted sources, for good reason. And I think we can all come to the agreement here that consensus has led us astray, if nothing else. Consensus is a con, in my opinion. Anyways, let's get into this. And this is a little bit of a scattered list. I'm not just sticking to health or to diet or to wellness or to self-growth and maturation and development and, the influences that I think most of us on our life journeys can use from time to time versus things and specific subjects that we are obsessed with for one reason or another. Or even, I don't know why you're here right now, but perhaps something that I'm going to give you off of this, or someone that I'm going to offer you to do a little bit of research with, will have some kind of profound impact on your life. So get a pen, get paper, maybe get your Instagram out, whatever social media you use the most, and look up some of these individuals, because I do think that something's going to register. Something will manifest for you. And you may be manifesting something off this list, as I did myself when I found some of these people. Dr. Bruce Lipton, Biology of Belief. Absolute life-changing influencer, doctor, scientist. The things that we've been taught about science and about our bodies and our capabilities and reality as we know it are just so jaded and so shaded in so many different ways. If you're ready for a new perspective on what's possible, on epigenetics and what we really are capable of and how much we can change down to every last cell in our body, check out Dr. Bruce Lipton. I cannot possibly give him enough of a positive recommendation. It's just sheer fact. He was very influential when I found him in what I thought was possible in life and what I thought I had within the control of my own psychology and my own thought processes and my behavior and my actions and my beliefs, my fundamental beliefs. Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, both in line with that thinking, that positive, don't limit yourselves kind of thinking. Be not limited or jaded by what you've been told that you're possible, or what is possible for yourself, because far more is possible in this life than we've ever been taught and that you probably ever dreamed of. And our potential to heal, our potential to expand and grow, and the things that we can accomplish are just boundless. And these have been 3 positive influences for myself in that regard. And I cannot possibly endorse them strongly enough. Joe Dispenza, Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden. Trust me on this one. Check them out. Dr. Joel Wallach and Wallach's Warriors are awesome. Awesome. The information, and I'll go, Ryan Alexander is a distributor for Wallach's Warriors and a friend of Dr. Wallach's. And I will say that he does book reviews. And look, before I even go any further, nobody on this list will you ever be in complete and full agreement with, I don't think. I just don't think that's the way humans work. I will never be in full 100% agreement with any of these people that I'm referring you to or I'm recommending. That doesn't mean I cannot completely endorse giving them a follow, paying attention to them, listening to what they have to say, the information that they share, and see how it pertains to you, and see what registers with your thought process on so many different things. You never know what you're going to find at the perfect time. You need to find it to really graduate in some way for yourself and to step through the next door of opportunity. And there's been a plethora of information that I cannot stress to you. I found at the perfect time for unimaginable reasons. Unimaginable. But when my faith needed a little boost, I found things. When confusion had set in and I needed a little clarity, I found things. When I was really down on myself for failure, I found things that have absolutely positively reminded me to pick myself up and to keep moving forward and to learn from mistakes and learn from failure. And, well, demand more of myself. Demand more and adapt to the demands that I'm placing on myself is fundamental for how I live my life. Demand adaptation. You've seen it on my shirts a lot. And it was something that I worked on, in depth to stress my body and my mind to grow. But it was something that proved so valuable in every next step that I took after I decided to really dive into self-growth and to positive forward progression. I really just kept putting myself into uncomfortable, unstable circumstances so that I could adapt to the demands that I was placing on myself and grow. The balance training was just amazing for that, because when I started, it was to rehabilitate an ankle injury. I had rolled my ankle really bad, and had blown up to the size of a volleyball or something. It was huge, and I swore I didn't want that to happen again. It was in a sandbar surfing. Long story short, I started working out on Indo boards and Bosu balls, which I had played around with Indo boards, and I had realized the gains that I could have from it and some of the positive results that I would get from it. So I really got back into that and pushed myself further than I would have ever imagined that I could or that was possible on the thing. I didn't know some of the things that I ended up doing were really possible on them when I was first introduced to them. But I placed new demands upon my body and my mind adapted to those demands and absolutely progressed and displayed the ability to do things that I didn't imagine, I didn't dream possible months or years before. So place new demands upon your body and adapt to those demands. It's one of the best ways to get into shape or to get positive results from yourself is to just throw yourself into that really uncomfortable, unstable environment in one way or another and allow yourself to flourish in discomfort until you are comfortable in those circumstances, until you can navigate those stormy seas. Wallach's Warriors. So Ryan has specifically, it's Ryan Alexander, has specifically written a book called Fake Diseases. I can't recommend it enough. I can't recommend his channels enough. He does Q&A on his Instagram. Just a rad source for information. How to deal with things that are primarily mineral and vitamins and just nutritional deficiencies. And the results that you can get from addressing your nutrition in the ways that they would recommend, they're amazing. I can't recommend them enough. As opposed to the traditional, non-traditional methods that people are employing now by going to a doctor and getting a prescription. I've spoke out about it till I'm blue in the face for as long as I can remember. You want to heal? Just say it. Just speak it. I want to heal. Something will present itself. It will present itself. And if you listen to that voice within and you do follow the guidance within and have some faith that you are going to heal, you will heal. We're not even allowed to use those terms when we're selling products, I guess, because, old big pharma and liability and all of these people that will come after you. Fake Diseases, Ryan Alexander. Weston A. Price, awesome resource. Joel Salatin, Polyface Farms, talking about regenerative agriculture and how methods that we abandoned are the only way for a sustainable future and a sustainable present right now. He really, really influenced me in several different ways, but one of them was the abandonment of local farmsteads and of how homes in America used to operate. We used to have chickens and they would be our composters, and I forget what his saying it was exactly, but it was something like if every household had a couple hens, well, the sustainability in the country and all of the hunger issues that we'd eliminate they're mind-boggling. And look him up for that, because he goes over in several of his videos and his tours of Polyface Farms where he's at and some of his speaking engagements. And it's awesome. It's riveting information. It's something that every American and people around the world need to know, because, it is life-changing and it will change your life for the better. Point blank. Zach Bush, MD, The Farmer's Footprint. He's a big microbiome guy, science guy that I can relate to. It's funny when we get into these conversations about science and trust the science. And for some reason, we're told to trust the science that's mainstream and commonly accepted, but these scientists refuse to entertain things that differ from their point of view or their funding. And let's be honest, it is their funding most of the time. Follow the money. You will find what's at the root of all this mis-science, this wrong-willed, this just, I can't feel any other way but intentionally misleading science and things that we are taught are commonly accepted in the community. However, that's just not true. There's plenty of subjects that are taboo or are not to be questioned for one reason or another. And most of those reasons boil down to profits, and it's just the way it is. Paul Chek Institute. Rad dude. Check him out. He's a character. And I am fond of characters, people that are true to themselves and let their truth and their beings shine regardless of what people's thoughts or judgments are going to be. And Paul has several different things that I think you'll look at and go, all right, this guy's different. He's out there. But he's so dead on with so many different things. The Chek Institute is his institute for life coaches and health coaches. Judy Cho, one of the first of my carnivore influencers. She's a dietitian and nutritionist, and she wrote a book called The Carnivore Cure. Awesome resource for healing your gut, healing yourself, doing the elimination protocols that I've mentioned on here so many times by now. And I think you have to inspect this information with an open mind, because anybody and everybody I brought this to begin with was so influenced by consensus and the mainstream that they really just they don't actually ponder the carnivore diet seriously. Or the first response I get from a lot of people is, oh, I couldn't possibly just eat meat. And I don't know, I think people are just so addicted to their comforts and to their enjoyment, or what they think they are enjoying, that they won't entertain radical differences. And something that would demand they change, place new demands, and adapt. This is one of those things that we did to our body when we started, eating the junk. We made our bodies adapt to a polluted environment that we were creating. And the symptoms of illness and disease and sickness are probably most of the time detoxification and trying to eliminate things that we've plagued our body with over and over and over and over again. PUFAs and the things that we just shouldn't be consuming, that are now just completely normal for people to consume. And how will you know how good you can feel until you detoxify yourself and you eliminate the things that we already know are just rotten and not good for you? Of the carnivore variety now, Paul Saladino, the Carnivore MD, The Carnivore Cure is a book he wrote. He's a great dude. It's a great dude. He's changed his mind on things, and he's evolved in his prognosis of what's the problems with most of people's diets in America, and the things that his foundation is the same. He's an animal foods guy, and he's, in my opinion, a bigger and better influence for being able to change his mind and to bring new things into the equations that he's putting forth, as opposed to being so dogmatically driven to be rigid and not allow his mind to be changed. But I think you should check him out. Check out his lifestyle. It aligns with mine in many different ways. And I am outdoors sun seeker. He's a surfer. He lives in Costa Rica now, I think, most of the time. But he'll definitely share the raw milk, animal-based diet information that I believe in fundamentally and has served me so well in the last few years. Sean Baker, for that matter, is another doctor who I think he ate only ribeyes for years. And he's a giant man, 6'4". I think he holds records in rowing. He's also got a nice group online with just a plethora of positive results that people have from going carnivore. Diabetics reversing diabetes, people that had heart markers and all kinds of awful blood work and ill health that restored themselves and completely shattered the illusion that they were going to be in an ill state for life by making these changes, by being willing to change. It's such an important part of life, especially when we run into roadblocks, when we run into plateaus, or we are regressing, when we are sliding into a dark place or into bad health. We must change. We must entertain those options to begin with, to decide what to try. If we know what doesn't work for us and we refuse to try anything else, or to do anything but stick with the things that don't work, well, we're not going to have good results. Hippocrates or somebody, another brilliant quote that I think it was Hippocrates, is, before you heal a man, make sure he is willing to give up what first made him sick. And that's not word for word, but you get the idea. You have to be able and willing to entertain change. It is the only constant in life, change. Myself, I've had so many different things that I felt were leading me nowhere, were keeping me on a plateau, were stopping me from elevating my game in one way or another, my performance in things that I wanted to do, my abilities to do things that I wanted to do, the way I felt every day. If you want better, you're going to have to change. If you want something that you've never had, you're going to have to do something you've never done. These are realities. Dr. Stephen Cabral, Dr. Ken Berry, Lies My Doctor Told Me. I brought that book on a few episodes ago. Rad book. Absolutely rad book, because he dispels some of the notions that are just commonly accepted and peddled. And I'm going to say peddled because it's for profits. A lot of these things are for profits. Most of the pharmaceuticals are for profits. This is going to be health misinformation. This is going to put me on a list, I'm sure. Like much everything else I say these days. The conspiracy theory label and why that was created and what it's used for. It's so dark, so evil. Because people profit from you not having information that conspiracy theorists or realists are willing to share with you. Things that have actually worked, produced the results that you want. Who has what you want? That is an excellent question to ask yourself. All of these influencers and all of these people that I wanted to share with you today, just the short list that I have, I'm going to come back and write more because there's no way I could cover it in one episode. All of these people had something or were producing results with their clients or their friends and family that I wanted for myself. And I think that's why I'm compelled to share, because I'm so grateful for the positive results that they produce for myself, or that I've been willing to produce for myself by entertaining the information that they had and actually trying the processes out. I love a lot of people who I have done my best to share information with them that was counter to what they were accustomed to and counter to what they were engaging in regularly. And I shared this information because I love them and I want to see them feel better, do better, have more. Because I'm grateful for these things that have served me so well. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to be alcohol free, to have a digestive system and good health, and to be able to perform the tasks that other people need me to perform, but also the engagement of activities that I really enjoy. And those that are absolutely uncomfortable but are producing results for me every day. Jiu-jitsu. You learn so much in jiu-jitsu when you're actually getting your ass kicked. When somebody is just decimating you, when they're running circles around you, when they're more technical than you are, when they're stronger than you are, when they're putting pressure on that is not comfortable. You're learning more then than when you're actually getting wins. It's the most addictive thing about jiu-jitsu is seeing what a smaller man who's technically advanced to you can do to you, and knowing that if you stick with the process, you will be able to do the same exact things. First, you have to adapt to the demands that you're placing on yourself. You have to survive in very uncomfortable environments, in uncomfortable positions. When you're up against a situation you cannot possibly win and know it. That's a mind bender in itself when you are volunteering yourself for a situation you cannot possibly win. It's inconceivable and it is impossible. Yet you do it anyways, because the results that you will gain from that experience. How do you create diamonds? Putting something under pressure? Is it? Look it up. Demand adaptation. Place new demands on your body and make it adapt. Check out some of these influences. I'm going to erase all the names that I've put up today, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to write more as they come to me. Jordan Peterson's on this list for sure. I've told you a million times when I found his lectures, it was me trying to be a better person. And although I don't agree with everything that Jordan Peterson says or all of the positions he's taken, there's so much that he had put forward that was absolutely, positively perfect in the exact time I needed it for myself. And there's a lot more. There's no way I could think about them in the time that I put forth to come here and talk to you today. But I'm extremely grateful. That's my message today. I am so grateful for all of these influences and everything that, while I can attribute to them and to their feeds and to their books and to their sharing openly with a community that's willing to listen and, when applied, will serve them well. I promise. Dr. Peter McCullough. That's another one right off the top of my head. There's a lot of information that runs counterintuitive to the mainstream community and doctors and science, especially in my opinion, I think he sprung to superstardom during COVID. And there's plenty of doctors that were completely censored and silenced during COVID. Anyways, thanks for joining me again. If you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Help me to grow this channel and help me to, put more energy and effort into the things that will serve you. So, feedback. I would love feedback from all of you as well. There's something that you would like to, have me go into deeper that you've heard on the podcast, or there's certain segments of things that I've gone into that are interesting, but you just think there's more to, please let me know. And if, I'm open to criticism. And say unsolicited advice is nothing more than criticism, but I'm open to that because I want to learn more about myself and my community. And if you're out there and you have something that you don't agree with, send me the message. Put it out there. I want to know, because dialogue and awareness will spawn change. The only constant in life is change. I'm Josh Button. Thanks for joining me. I will talk to you all soon.